Hi, this is Mel Hom. Wanted to show you some features of some calculators that we have. I have two different types of calculators here. There's lots of calculators that are out there, and some are better than others. I'm just going to show you two, and I think that'll handle most situations that you might run into when it comes to how to punch in certain buttons on your calculator, okay? So I'm going to switch over to share the screen with you and show you some of what we might be talking about. Okay, I have a calculator here called a TI-85. Most of the TI type of calculators would follow the rules that I'll be showing you. If you have a TI-81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, any of those would work. You could say a plus next to it, like 83 plus or 84 plus, whatever. Same thing, it would still work. Okay, so I'll show you how that would work. This is just general layout of it. And sorry if I angle it wrong, I might end up burning out your eyeballs like that. So sorry about that. I also have a regular scientific calculator, something like this, and this is a little bit more pleasing to the eyes, I guess. So for a lot of the functions on this type of calculator, you actually have to do something backwards. You'd be hitting something and then going backwards from what other people would be doing, and I'll be demonstrating that for you. Okay, the first thing we want to show you is 2 to the third power, which is equal to 8, we know. So on a TI type of calculator, again, I apologize if I'm burning out your eyes, but the exponent button on this type of calculator is right here. Okay, sometimes it's called the up caret, C-A-R-A-T, or up caret. Okay, on a computer, that's normally above the number 6. So capital for 6, it's above the 6. To get that on a computer keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit 2 to the third power like this. So I'll hit the number 2, and then I'll hit this button for an exponent. So exponent 3, and it's hard for me to get you to see it, but it says 2 to the third power, 2 exponent 3. Then I'll just press equal or enter. Most calculators either equal or enter, and it says 8. Again, I'm not sure you can see it that well. Trying to change the angle here, but 2 to the third power is equal to 8. Okay, then on a regular scientific calculator, this is actually a little bit easier to see, but it's not as powerful. So on this type of calculator, to get an exponent, you look for this button, which looks like it says y to the x power. It's the same as x to the y power. Okay, so you folks would hit 2, so hit 2, and then exponent is y to the x. So I'll hit that. You don't see anything on the display. And then I want 3, and then I press equal, and there's your 8. Okay, so for exponents, you would hit y to the x power. Now let me try it with a negative exponent, 10 to the negative 2. Okay, so for this calculator, I apologize if I get the angle and burn out your eyeballs, try to watch out for that. So 10 to the negative 2. First thing I want to mention is for a negative on this type of calculator, any of the TI series, the negative is down here. It looks like a little parentheses with a negative there. Do not use this one that looks like a minus. That's the regular subtraction. And you can tell because normally you have the division, multiplication, minus, and plus all together. So this is for subtraction, but to get a negative number, you want that. So 10 to the negative 2, I would hit 10. So I've got my 10. Then my exponent, which is this button, exponent. Okay, so 10, that up caret shows up, sort of like an arrow pointing up. And now to get a negative 10, don't hit this one, but you want this one. Okay, so I'm going to hit negative and 2. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see it right, but it says 10 raised to the negative 2. And I'm expecting the answer to be 0.01 or maybe 0.01. So you can see that it's a 0.01. Shows up better on the other calculator, which is actually not as good, but it shows up better on the overhead here. So 10 exponent negative 2, 0.01. So again, that was 10 exponent negative 2, and then enter. It shows up better on this calculator. Okay, so let me clear this. So 10 to the negative 2, so I'll type 1, 0. Exponent is this one, y to the x. And now in this calculator, to get a negative 2, you actually have to hit 2 first. And then this button here that looks like a plus or minus, again, don't use this minus. This is for subtraction. And again, on almost every calculator, you can tell there's division, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. So you don't want that. That's for subtraction. This one changes the sign. So after you hit y to the x, to get to -2, you actually have to hit the 2 first, and then hit this one that looks like plus or minus. And then you notice that there's a minus sign that pops up. Okay, so you'd have to actually go backwards. This is a backwards type calculator. Okay, then when I press equal, there's the 0.01. Okay, natural log of 7. Okay, so on this calculator, there's a button for natural log. It looks like ln. Okay, so there's ln. Above ln is e to the x. There's also a button for log and 10 to the x. You might get that a little bit later in the semester, but for now, how do you get ln of 7? ln stands for natural log. So I'll just hit ln, and then 7. ln 7, press enter, and 1.9459, if you can't see it there, ln 7, 1.9459. I want to mention quickly, some of your calculators, once you hit ln, it automatically pops up with a left paren. Again, I'm not sure you can see that, but sometimes when you hit ln, there's a left parenthesis. Okay, you folks would have to clear it, close it with a right parenthesis. So I will hit ln of 7 and close it with a right parenthesis. So if you automatically get the left paren, that's the same for any function, same for e or square root. Okay, if you see a left paren, close it with a right paren. And once again, 1.9459, blah, 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 1.9459. Again, if you couldn't see it, it shows up better on this calculator. Okay, so clear this. Okay, this being a backwards type calculator, to get ln of 7, you folks would actually have to go 7 ln. So I'm going to hit 7, and then there's a button here that says ln. You can barely see it here, but ln, which stands for natural log. So I hit ln, and there it is, 1.9459, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so experiment with your calculator. Sometimes your calculator, you have to go backwards, which means you have to hit 7 and then ln. Okay, right above the ln button says e to the x, and that's also true for this calculator, sorry. Okay, above the ln is e to the x. So let's suppose I want e raised to the -1 power. Okay, so in order to get this, you have to use the second function, which is this one here. It's normally in the upper left. I've seen all kinds of colors. I've seen yellow, I've seen red, I've seen green, blue, second function. Okay, so to get e to the -1, I have to hit second function. Then when I hit the ln button, it'll actually show up with e raised to something. So e exponent. Again, some of you, it shows up with a left paren. If there's a left paren, close it with a right paren. And then I want -1, so the negative button is right here. -1, and enter 0.36787, blah, 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 0.36787. If you can't see it, that's what it is, and it shows up better on this other calculator. Okay, and once again, if your calculator, if you got to do the same thing, second function e to the x, some of you, it automatically pops up with a left parenthesis. So if you see a left parenthesis, then after you type -1, then you folks close it with a right parenthesis, like that. And 0.36787, blah, 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 blah. Again, if you can't see it, I'll show it to you on this calculator a little bit better. Okay, so clear that out. Okay, e to the -1. So this one is a backwards calculator, so you have to do the whole thing backwards, not only the exponent, but also the negative. So you folks would hit the 1 first, 1, and then to get the negative, you have to hit this plus or minus button, way down here. Okay, so plus or minus, that shows up with a -1. And then you folks get the e to the x button. So second function, way up here, second function, and then the one that looks like ln, but it's be e to the x. And there we go, 0.36787, blah, 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 blah. There we go, 0.36787, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and the last one I'm going to show you was how to do a square root, like the square root of 2. Okay, so most calculators have a square root button. Let's see, on this calculator, it's up here, it's above x squared, which kind of makes sense. X squared matched with square root of x. So For the TI type of calculator, TI 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, it can say plus or pro or whatever, same thing. So second function, I'll hit x squared, but it shows up as square root. So there's square root. Again, you might have a left parenthesis, then you close it with a right parenthesis. So suppose I want the square root of 2, so I just hit 2 right now, and square root of 2. Enter. 1.414213, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Once again, for you folks, if you hit second function square root, if it shows up with a left parenthesis, then close it. So after I type in 2, close it with a right parenthesis. And same thing, 1.412, blah, 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 blah. Again, if you can't see it, it shows up better on the other calculator. So this calculator, being a backwards type of calculator, you have to hit 2 first. So 2, okay, square root button looks like it's right over here, and it's a button all by itself. It's not a second function. So I just hit the square root button, and it should give it to me. And there we go, 1.414213, and whatnot. And that's that. Okay, so that's how to do some of the functions on some basic calculators. If you have any questions about your particular calculator, if that didn't handle them all, then send me an email. We can talk about it. All right, thank you.